everybody. Welcome to Act 3. Super glad that you joined us today. On today's episode, we're going to talk about some hobbies. We're going to talk about some really cool arty kind of things that are happening in community. And we're also going to talk a little bit about hospice. So welcome to the show. Make sure you go grab yourself a beverage. We'll see you in just a moment.
I'm sitting on the edge of love and happiness. Never experienced such a moment as this. So if you got that good feeling in your body and you want to bring this moment to life, come with me, we'll hit the town. Let's go right now and live the life. I just want to shine like the sky up like a sunset, living with no regrets. I just want to shine.
So I know you've just done this big fundraiser, but there's more to be done. So talk to us a little bit about some of the upcoming events.
Yeah, so I mean, fundraising is like our number one. We're only about 25% funded. So we rely heavily on our community support and sponsorship and donors. So for us, I call it, I don't know if I'm too sporty or whatnot, but I call it our big three. We have our first Cycle of Life tour. So we have a team of 11 this year, full. They'll be doing a 200-kilometer ride around Victoria and Salt Spring, and all money is raised for all the island hospices. So there's 10 of us.
Wow.
Yes, it's great.
It's a collaborative effort.
Yes, it is. So Victoria Hospice kind of puts it together, and they do such a wonderful job. And it's so exciting because we haven't had the in-person ride in 2 years. So it's really great. And we have a full team. So really looking forward to that. So we'll probably be doing some burgers and beers and some raffles for that to raise some funds for them. And then, as you know, we have our annual Hike for Hospice coming up. So that's booked for September. I'm really excited this year, actually. We're going to do some new stuff, so stay tuned to see what's coming down the pipe for that. And then our next thing is not till the end of the year in December. It's our Celebrate a Life. So we do trees of remembrance in the mall. We do our light up night. We do a gathering to remember at the church where we do a candlelit ceremony. So yeah, so as much as we did this one large Dream Home Lottery project, now it's kind of back to the root of hospice and do our stuff where we get our volunteers and our local, community members and clients even involved. So
that's fantastic. I love the update. I love the idea that there's going to be some more adventurous things happening within our community. I'm sorry that we get to see each other on Zoom this time. I love it more when we get to be in person, but we wanted to make sure that our community was able to see what really new fabulous events are happening before this time was up. And so I'm curious as well, when you're looking at the future plans, have things opened up? Are people coming back in person to hospice now that the COVID has finally given us a little bit of leeway? It's not gone, but a little bit of leeway. I know. I'm actually nervous every time I turn on the news. I don't know.
I know. It's like, wait, are we still good? Are we good?
Are we good?
Yeah. I mean, as things are opening up, so we are seeing people face to face, but I guess I feel bad when I say the silver lining of COVID, but it truly is for us, is the increased accessibility. So we did pivot like a lot of organizations and business and moving to a virtual base or having people available by phone. So we're actually keeping that on board because it's increased our accessibility tenfold. It removes like those grief hurdles, like you don't have to leave your house, you don't have to get in the car, you don't have to come in. But I mean, for those that prefer to come in, we're definitely welcoming everybody back in the house. Our PCU volunteers are back in the palliative care unit at the hospital, so that's wonderful. And that's what the hospital staff has absolutely said since the get-go how much they missed us. So
I don't know about you, but I absolutely love great art. And our very own Dan Elliott on Raven Tales is going to share what's happened with his artistic world in the last little while. You're not going to want to miss it.
Hey, how are you? It's been a while since I've seen you, my friend. How's it going?
Oh my gosh, I know. It's been crazy, but good.
I know. It's always crazy, but good when it comes to you. Yeah. And so I hear a little whisper in the wind called the winds of change.
Yes.
I had the great fortune of being there with our cameraman, Doug, to take a bit of footage. But I think our community really needs to know what that was all about because it was pretty fantastic.
I know, it was surreal. I was just kind of floating on the clouds.
So I mean, you were floating on the clouds, but why? Why? I mean, let's look at what you're doing, dude.
Yeah, well, you know, I've been a hidden artist by design. And it was coming out party for me.
Yeah.
And I did some work with with the school district and the prison, and I've been struggling always to express myself around First Nation issues and things happening and how can we work in there. And I was like, I don't have the language, I don't have the written capacity that I really want to have. And I went, well, I'm a painter, I'm an artist.
Right?
So I painted a 2.5-year project called Winds of Change.
Now, in our early program, when we first, Act 3, first came back to Shaw, we first started reaching out to community, we shared some of those pieces.
Yes, we
But
did.
that was part of a collection. And so how many pieces were in the collection? Who got involved in it? And where are we going next?
Well, I did 13, and then I decided I needed to do one more, so I did 14 pieces. Some of them are big.
Yeah.
They're like 4 by 6 foot
They're like
watercolors.
They're walls. They're walls is what they are.
They're walls. And so I was actually trying to paint what was beautiful about our Indigenous culture.
Yeah.
What was the interruption?
Yeah.
And we know what that is. I mean, that's all over the pages
It's all over the
of
pages,
the news.
residential schools, all of that really nasty stuff.
And then
Yeah.
the other part is, because I'm always about what's right with the picture.
Yeah.
You know, how do we make that? So it's about, yes, reconciliation, but it's actually about conciliation, which is the last part of it. And that's about how we come together.
Yes.
So there's I go through the valley and I come out and people have a very hopeful outlook with this body of work.
Well, it was more than a hopeful thing. I mean, you were getting 100 people a day at the university taking a peek at the work that you've done. And now we're moving it forward. Steps are going in the right direction so that this becomes an even larger legacy project. Yeah. What's in the plan now? I think I heard that there's a little birdie telling me that a little funding might have come your way to maybe do something groovy. And what does that look like?
Well, I applied there's one of 30 grants available. Yeah. And I was thinking, okay, I'm not really a big movie guy or documentary guy. I am through Shaw.
We're famous on Act 3. What do you mean famous?
We are. Okay, I'll take that. And lo and behold, my friend and I got this grant to paint or to videotape and make a documentary.
Wonderful.
Like 30 or 40 minutes. That's our timeline. So it's kind of a timeline of how I got to paint Winds of Change. So it's called Truth, Art, and Reconciliation. That's the title. Pretty stoked about it.
I feel like dancing. And since we've got a little bit of tunage, perhaps, why don't you tell us a little bit about this little number?
Well, this was a gift from a friend of mine, and this actually comes from the plains, kind of southern America would have these. They're heartwood flutes. I love them. One of my favorite artists, Carlos Nakai, I listen to his music all the time. And a friend of mine gave me this, and so I've been learning how to play it. And I don't play it a lot in public or anywhere because...
Yeah, but it's me.
It's a cording flute, and I'm married.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's still...
But my wife doesn't even come down to the studio when I play it.
Well, she would if you played it more often, I'm sure. I know your wife. She's pretty darn fabulous.
She is.
She really is.
She's a
But
dynamite.
even though it's a cording flute, why don't you just play a little?
I can play a little bit.
Just a little bit. I mean, I know you're learning.
Yeah.
But today's stories, all the stuff we're talking about today is about the hobbies and the things we do. So, like, a new hobby might be this
Brand
for
new.
you. Not that you need another one, Mr. Painter, Artist Extraordinaire, but nonetheless.
Okay, I'll give it a try.
Please do. That worked for me.
Okay.
You had 3 notes there that were pretty sensational.
That was going good. But some of this, you have to adjust and make sure it's okay, and I didn't do that.
And I recognize it's COVID, so I'm not gonna, even though we're not wearing our masks right now, we understand that, it's still going on.
Yeah.
We still need to be really careful about the things we do. So I won't do this, even though,
You'd like to.
You know I want to.
I know.
You know I want to. So I'm going to make it kind of go like that, but I'll pretend, right? It's so that it's not.
It's got a beautiful kind of haunting sound. It does.
It has tone. How long does it take to learn how to play this kind of an instrument, do you think?
You know, I don't know. I think sometimes people go out and find their own songs and stuff.
Yeah.
But I know some of these guys know hundreds of songs, and it's just you got to put the time in. This is actually in the key of G.
Ooh.
Of all things.
Oh.
So I can play along. If you had a guitar, you could play along with
And
the
you and I
key of
played
G.
guitar together before. I play one chord, you play everything else. It
Yeah.
works beautifully.
So,
Sadly, our segment is just about done.
Oh,
Raven
my.
Tales, fabulous man.
yes.
You know, and I think that our community needs to honor the fact that the winds of
Yeah.
change is such a big deal. We need to pay attention to the people around us in community, don't we?
We do.
And you work so closely with Sunemo First Nations and Stenemos. I hope I'm saying that right.
Sinemo and
Stenemo
Staminas.
And Staminas. Okay, I got
Staminas,
this a little bit mixed up.
Well,
but
it
we
used to be
know.
Shamanis,
Right.
and they were like, well, actually, the original name is Staminas. So then they changed it back. That's how we got it back.
Well, it's going to
Yeah.
keep on playing the winds of change. I
Yes.
can feel them now.
Seashells by the seashore. But some people make some really wonderful things out of those great crafts. Mickey Findley not only is a great writer, but she is also a terrific craftsperson when it comes to using nature as her muse. Enjoy.
Welcome back. It's good to see you. And boy, do we have something special here for you today. We're welcoming Mickey Findley. Good to have you here.
Thank
Hello.
you for having me.
I'm seeing all these beautiful creations here, and I would love for you to share with me what's happening here. What's this all about?
Well, this is something that well, first of all, I'm part mermaid, I'm quite sure. So I love beachy stuff. I love Vancouver Island, and I have to make this stuff. It's fun. It all started, I guess, 2008, and I had made this ornament for the Nanaimo Arts Council Christmas table. And it was a glass ball with sand and seashells and whatnot inside. And they sold like hotcakes, which was a shock to me, right? But a friend of mine said, you should make them, some more of them and sell them. And so she and I just started, we went in my craft room, we just started making them, and it exploded into lots of things.
Ta-da!
Message in the bottle. Mermaid treasure bottle is what I call that. It's a gin bottle, by the way. And no, I didn't drink the gin.
Okay.
But I do a lot of recycling like that. So,
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. And lots of earrings, because I love earrings.
And the earrings, how long does it take for you to create these?
It just depends on how picky I'm being that day
Okay.
and how intricate they are, right? Or how many times I swear because I didn't get it right. So it really depends a lot. So maybe a half an hour around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
For each one?
Yeah, just
Oh, wow.
depends. Just depends.
What inspires you? You have so many ideas here.
I don't know. I am a kind of person who has to do a lot of different things. I have to have variety in my life. And so this gives me an outlet for that, right? And yeah, I love making it.
I would love to know, I love the ideas of hobbying. I have no idea where to start.
Right.
So what would you suggest for those of us that just look at these beautiful creations and go,
Well, I was lucky because I had a friend that was creative. So because we could encourage each other and inspire each other, that made all the difference. So I would just suggest maybe finding a friend that is a real crafter and start doing it. And in the morning, just have some coffee with Baileys and some good old 70s music and just start creating whatever comes to mind.
well, where do you go for these creations?
Oh my gosh, everywhere, Alexis. These guys here, there's a Union Bay oyster farm. So I go through these dirty old smelly oyster shells and I bring them home and I bleach them, clean them, and make them into tea lights in the Scallop farm out Qualicum Beach Way.
Yes.
And then again, I put a thing out on Facebook saying I was looking for bottles. And so a lady donated a bunch of gin bottles to me. And so yeah, just everywhere and anywhere. Yeah.
And how long does it take for you to do the bleaching?
Well, it's kind of a process because I'll have the big, my kitchen is a mess. I'll have seashells and driftwood and all this stuff all over the place. So it doesn't take too long. I just let things soak in soapy water and bleach, and then take them out and take a brush and get all the nooks and crannies, and because those little barnacles can be stinky. So you got to really clean them well.
Well, I'm understanding, I'm looking at this, and I also know that you happen to be an author.
I am.
So you're a very multi-talented woman. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about your writing?
Well, I've been published. Now it'll be 3 times coming up in April with Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. I just took a wonderful memoir class called Memoir Writing Inc., which just, oh my gosh, it opened up my writing. It was a game changer for me. Alison Waring was the teacher. And so that really inspired me to get writing my memoir. So that's what I'm working on now, if I can discipline myself to stick to it.
Well, to see you, it's very inspiring.
Thank you.
To see how you're creating, there's writing. For us to be able to find out a little bit more about you, where would we go?
Well, you can just go to mickeyfindlay.com, nice and easy, MICKI Findlay.com.
Beautiful.
Everything's
there. Well, thank you very much. And boy, do we have something special coming up for you next.
Hey all, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. It's always so much fun to bring cool stuff to you. I hope that you're learning something today on Act 3. Next up, we have Teresa Osman. She's going to talk to us about something that's an unusual hobby, but a hobby nonetheless for many people, and it's all about gambling. Enjoy Teresa and the Wellness Minute.
For many, gaming and gambling are hobbies. When they become more than hobbies, VI Gaming Support can help. Did you know that March is Problem Gambling Awareness Month? And so today, Karen is here to give us some gambling guidelines. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Teresa. Indeed, Canada established the lower risk gambling guidelines in order to help people with their gambling, to just check to see if we're gambling within reason. So there are 3 guidelines to follow. Number 1 is never gamble more than 1% of your household income, and that's your gross income. And that will vary, of course, from lower income to higher income, but that's a guideline to keep in mind. The second guideline is about keeping it to 4 days a month. So whether that averages to once a week or it's a weekend away with your friends, trying to keep gambling to within 4 days per month. The third and final gambling guideline is to try and maintain only 2 forms of gambling, whether that's bingo and lotteries, whether that's poker and slots, just trying to keep things to 2 forms and no more.
These are really great guidelines to keep our gaming in check. Are there risk factors that make us more susceptible to having problems with gambling and gaming?
That's a really good point, Teresa. Indeed, if we're struggling with some mental health issues, with addiction issues or grief and loss, we're certainly more vulnerable than we would otherwise be. If we're attracted to fast-paced games, the quicker we gamble, the quicker it goes, the more problematic it can become. And if we're gambling for escapism reasons, or we're looking to try and make some money, that can certainly increase our risk of developing an issue. So if you find yourself in trouble, folks, VI Gaming Support is here to help people, confidential, free, and we're here for you at all times.
That's great, Karen. Thanks so much for this very valuable information.
You're welcome, Teresa.
Coming up next, I interview on my radio program Gypsy Hart. She has something fabulous happening for May the 7th. You're going to want to attend. You just know you will. So please stay tuned.
I'm a holistic practitioner here on Vancouver Island. I not only offer some amazing different treatments for clients, from like raindrop therapy to hot stone massage. I do deep tissue massage, relaxation massage, different kinds of therapies. And so, definitely visit my website because that will give you the whole gist of all the different things. I have a lot of different modalities because I love learning new things. And And next thing you know, you look back and go, oh, I've been doing that for like 15 years. That's awesome. So then I'm like, what else can I learn? And so I really love adding all these new modalities to my repertoire of services that I love to offer my clients. And I also offer spiritual services as well. So I'm a holistic practitioner, but also a mystic. So I do offer palm tarot, tea leaf readings. I've been doing that for 35 plus years. Which I really enjoy. It's just another way of using tools to help pave the path for people who are maybe feeling a little lost on their path and they want to kind of rediscover who they are or maybe reinvent themselves. And so I love to, follow through with that with people that really enjoy having spiritual readings, psychic readings. I'm a medium, so I have a different kind of modalities on that too. I use different kinds of tools, and it's wonderful to see people really open up and realize that they do have a path and they aren't stuck, and that we can actually shift things in a particular reading, for example. So yeah, I really love it. And I'm a yoga teacher as well. So another passion. I've been teaching for probably over 15 years here on the island, and from kids yoga to men's yoga to, I teach elderly as well. So it's like a whole variety of different levels of yoga. And I really enjoy, I work from not only home, but as well City of Nanaimo. So I offer some parks and recreation, classes that you might be interested in as well. So come and try it.
But you did bring up something that I think is really a wonderful share in regards to the COVID piece, because as much as now things have been lifted and restrictions are moving around, I'm curious about how that went for you from a healing capacity. How were you engaging with people? Were you engaging with people? How did you manage that whole COVID crazy?
Well, as a psychic, that was a big part of being pulled into another realm of all of a sudden, this is a worldwide event.
Yeah.
And a lot of the forums that I was always part of as a spiritual worker, as a light worker, we would always channel in and we would have healing discussions, and also light workers would come together. And for years, there was only maybe a couple of thousand that would, come together, and we would send our healing energy basically long distance. So maybe it was a certain country or place or person or whatever it is that we would come together and we would send that healing, and collectively we shifted things. And so I remember when COVID hit, it was like, okay, everyone's in lockdown and everything else. So I got online, and of course I'm part of these forums, and then I'm looking at the numbers and I'm thinking, there is now millions of us online doing these spiritual movements worldwide. So the numbers were just insane, like to a point where energy wise, it was like so overwhelming. And knowing that there was such great need for us as light workers to help people through this transition, because it's huge, right? It's huge. And some people thrived, and some people did not do so well with the whole experience. And remember that this is just an experience, and
Absolutely.
we are now seeing a lot of clarity, and things are starting to open up, and which is exciting at the same time. But then there's still upheaval in so many different parts of the world, as you know. And so a lot of us light workers are still coming together. It's like the work is never done. It's now higher and more in need than it ever used to be, because people were just kind of going about their own business. They were, doing whatever in their life, but not realizing that, there's so much more going on in the world now. Everyone's tuned in, huge.
Yeah. Are light workers coming together more regularly with Ukraine in specific? And what does that look like? Just if you don't mind sharing a little bit of your experience with that, would be grand.
We're definitely channeling a lot that is going towards there. And of course, on a I don't know, universal kind of conscious level, we are shifting things will change. And it's just a matter of, how are we doing this, right? How are we integrating in? Everybody can do also a part. Just, collectively, the more we think about, the healing and the energy that we need to channel over there. And it's just worldwide everywhere, because everyone is, there's a lot of like so much bliss, but then there's also so much pain. You remember that, it's a yin and yang, right? You can't have the bliss without the struggle. So we are seeing that, and more so, it's more in our face than it ever has been. And people are starting to understand it and starting to, I guess, really, sense it more on a higher vibrational level, because now it's so intense, right? People can't ignore it. They might try to, but then that just kind of it backfires on them, and then they realize that, okay, I guess I have to like kind of go with the flow. And it's about education, right? It's how we educate ourselves. And I'm about to run and host the 3rd annual Nanaimo Wellness and Spirit Fair, which is coming on, May 7th. It's a Saturday, May 7th, between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. And the community is, invited. Nanaimo, Vancouver Island, everyone is welcome to come and join in, and not only become like exhibitors. Pardon me?
I'm so sorry, love. Where are you hosting it? Where will this?
So it's going to be at the Cavalotti Lodge, and that's just off of Wellington, East Wellington, just in Nanaimo. And so it'll be open to the public from 10 a.m. to 5. Please come in and support all these beautiful local small businesses. They range from holistic practitioners who are there to offer all their wonderful services, as well as there'll be like crystals, and there's all sorts of different vendors that are setting up on spiritual levels as well. And also lots of psychics will be coming as well to offer their services, and allowing you to ask as many questions as you want and just be there and be part of it, right?
Is there an admission to get in?
No, it's a free event to the public. So that's the best part, is just come park and come and enjoy, the event. Amazing causes out there too that we as a community need to also focus on. The Nanaimo Wellness and Spirit Fair is also hosting the Nanaimo Loaves and Fishes. Donations can be made through that. There's a website that's also attached for any donations that you'd like to put towards that. Nanaimo Loaves and Fishes will be at the fair as well on May 7th, and they will have a booth set up so that they will take in also any donations that you might have for our community to feed the hungry here just in our city. So it's really important to kind of have a focus on that as well.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you for the share, because it is really important. And we do know for sure that this time has caused a lot of burden on many, many families. The Loaves and Fishes has been offering food bank services probably more than they have in many, many years. And resources do run slim. Even though we have so many generous and kind people, let's not forget them all the time. It's not just a Christmas thing. It's on all year round.
Well, thanks again for tuning in to Act 3. Super glad you came. I know that's the 3rd time today I've said super glad, and it's because I'm super glad, and we all are. Everyone on the team of Act 3 is thrilled to be able to produce this for you, and we hope that you enjoy the show. So make sure you tune in next time on Act 3.
I'm feeling wonderful. Oh, it's as good as it gets.